Hey guys, today we are going to discuss in detail about why should you write the Python programming or any other programming languages. What is the necessity you have to write the program? So what is the benefit of writing the program? So from this module 1, the first chapter is why should you learn to write the programs. Okay, what is the necessity that you have to write the program? So the basic thing in generally before writing any programs, everyone should know what is necessity by writing the programs, what is the benefit or advantage people get. Okay, so in this chapter we are going to discuss in detail what is the necessity or why you should write the programs. Okay, so the thing is, when you're writing the programs or any other programming language, we say it is very creative or rewarding activity. Obviously, so writing program it is a rewarding activity or very good creative activity. So when you write the programs, we'll be writing it for many reasons. That is like making your living to solving a difficult data analysis. You'll be having a complex data to deal with. So in such cases, when you write the programs, it will be very easier for dealing with those complex problems. Okay, and not only with this data analysis or solving the complex problem, you can also have a fun with the programming. So when we are surrounded by in our daily lives with computers which range from laptops and the cell phones, obviously every people nowadays have access to digital platform like laptops, desktops or mobile phones. Okay, so when we think of these computers as our personal assistants, they will be taking care of the many things on our behalf. Okay, so you can think how our personal digital assistants or the personal assistants is making you a benefit or how it is helping you throughout your life. Okay, so whatever the hardware in our current day computers is essentially built, it is used for continuously for asking the question. It keeps on asking you what would you like me to do next. When you're using a mobile phone, it keeps on asking you what would you like to me do next. So when you have something in your mind and you want to do that particular thing, and if you're giving it in the form of machine language understandable form, then obviously it is easy for them to do your job. Okay, so what does this programmers do is they add an operating system. So obviously we need an operating system to perform all your computations or the instructions and a set of applications to the hardware, and we end up with this personal digital assistant. That is how your personal digital assistant is made, and which is quite helpful and capable of helping us to do many different things. So you can see a personal digital assistants. We have, for example, say my personal digital assistants is mobile phone. So whenever you want to do something in mobile phone, for example, say gaming, so you'll be having a gaming applications. What do? You have to go and click on that game applications, and that is what you have in the mind, and that is what your personal digital wants to perform for you. Okay, so this personal digital assistants, it keeps on asking you what next, what next, what would you like me to do. Okay, so that is the thing we have to do, and we have some other thing. For example, say when we have a textbook, when you want to read a paragraphs from the textbook, so as a person you can read the lines very easily, but if I ask you, can you count the number of the words in the textbook? It is difficult for a person to read the entire textbook. So when we write the program giving some set of the instruction, this is the textbook, this textbook contains the number of the pages and each page contains so many words, can you count the number of the words in the entire textbook? So obviously that would be easy for your personal digital assistants or a computer to find out the number of the words in the textbook. Okay, that is one such example. So why we say this programming is creativity and motivation, how it is making motivation to any person. Okay, so we can say programming can be very rewarding both financially as well as personally. Obviously when you build useful, elegant and clever programs for others, it is very we can say it is very creative activity. Okay, so when you have a computer or a personal digital assistant, it usually contains many different programs for many different groups of the programmers, each computing for your attention and then interest. Okay, so that is what the job of your PD is. So there they try their best to meet your needs. Obviously, people will be having their some expectations or their needs. According to their needs, the thing should be satisfied and give a great user experience in the process. So in some sort of situations, when you use a software, the programmers are directly compensated because of your choice. Okay, so that is also possible with this programming. So when we think of the programs as a creative output of group of programmers, perhaps the following figure is more sensible version of our we have seen this one. The programmers keep on talking to you. What they do, they keep on asking you, you can choose me, you can choose me. For example, you have a number of applications in the Play Stores. Okay, so Play Store gives a option of a number of applications. They keep on asking you, download this application, you download this application. So it is left to the user, depends on his interest and the need. Okay, so that is how it happens here. So this for this now we have a primary motivation, that is, it is not to make money or please the end user, but instead for us to be more productive in handling the data and information that we will encounter in our lives. So this is the main motive of programming. Okay, so when we really first start with, you will be become a both programmer and the end user of the programs. Obviously, when any programmer starts with programming, he will be the programmer as well as the end user. As an end user, he will be testing the program or the required output, that is what the user is expecting. So once you gain a skill as a programmer, and the programming feels more creative to you. Okay, so your thoughts also may turn toward developing the programs for others. Okay, so that is a main job, or how it makes how we can say programming is a creative and rewarding activity. Okay, so the next topic is computer hardware architecture. So before you start programming or something, you need some platform to write your program. So what is the platform? You need a hardware architecture. So generally when you consider the computer architecture, we say a computer hardware architecture contains central processing unit, main memory, input output devices, and the secondary memory. And nowadays we need a network. Obviously almost all the devices has been connected with the network services. Okay, so that would be a great boon to this hardware architecture. So this is the hardware architecture of the computer. So it contains a central processing unit, main memory, and then we have a secondary memory, input and output devices, and as well as the network devices. So we can say a central processing unit is the main heart of the any computer. So what would be the job of the central processing unit? It will take all the instructions provided by the users and performs those instructions and give them as the output to the users. So that is the job of the so that would be the job of the this central processing unit. Okay, so the next, what is the main job of this main memory? Okay, so whenever you switch on the computer, we have some n number of the instructions are the set of the instructions which must be loaded for the initial step for the computer to be run. So I can say this main memory is a temporary memory. So whatever the instructions you give, these instructions will be stored for temporary and gives instructions to central processing unit, and then it is performed. And once you switch off the computer or turn off the computer, all your data will be erased. So that is called main memory. And the secondary memory is we have the secondary memory can be considered as USB, hard disk, hard drives. So this can be considered as the permanent memory. So whatever you store in the secondary memory, it will be stored permanently. Okay, so that is the use of this secondary memory. And the next one is we have the input and output devices. Okay, so the input devices can be like keyboard and then mouse. So these can be the input devices. When it comes to output devices, we have monitor, then printer, and some other kinds of output devices which is going to display output to the users. Okay, and you need some software, so that set of the software should be running this perform this operating system. So its central processing unit keeps on asking, what would you like me to do, what is the job should be done. Okay, and this is network which is connected to the computer. So whenever you want to retrieve the information through the network, and this can be done through over the network. So this is the computer architecture. Thank you.